Welcome to the Intentional Wellbeing Podcast. I am so excited to be on the podcast today with founder, creator, visionary Elyse Kaye around her revolutionary Boulder Holders. Has anybody ever seen that movie, The Boulder Holders? If you don't know what I'm talking about, we're going to be talking about bras, breast health, working out, and all that good stuff today. Elyse Kaye, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. I don't know if your listeners know this, but we've had multiple conversations.
Yep.
And definitely our sisters from a different mister.
Yes.
So looking forward to it today. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Let me read your bio. You got to know all about Elyse. She founded Bloom Bras out of frustration, and girl, I hear you. I was really actually going to put up a video about trying to get your bra on, your sports bra on before your yoga, your yoga practice or your workout. How you basically have to dislocate your shoulder to get into a sports bra that is so tight that it cuts off circulation to your brain. That's totally how I feel about my sports bra. But you have had an amazing journey on this. So you felt the frustration as a person that doesn't fit into the box of conventional sizing for bras. And you knew that it was an engineering challenge and not a design flaw. You were going to figure out how this was going to work for all of us. So you partnered with NASA. Can you hear this? NASA, shipping and packaging experts and celebrities, corset designer to Oprah and to Adele to develop a sports bra that adjusts to the body, designed without harmful underwire. It lifts the breasts rather than squashing them. So no more uniboob, and removing pressure on the shoulders and ribs, which is what I need. This allows for natural movement of the breast and uninterrupted circulation of blood, improving your posture and physique. We are now the most body inclusive line on the market. And this is why we're talking from a 28C all the way to a 56L. There's no underwire or Velcro. It's designed to be comfortable. It's designed to distribute weight throughout the back and sides. It isn't just going to compress you into a big squish, to a big marshmallow. It allows for natural movement and all the great things. And what I love is you've named this company after your grandma. I thought that was the sweetest thing. Who gave me several things that make me who I am. She loves to travel, food, as well as having big boobs. So I always say that I'm the honorary president of the Big Titty Committee, but maybe you're the founding partner of the Big Titty.
I'll be vice president. Come on.
You'll be vice president. Are you okay to be vice president? Can we share that role? I am so excited to talk to you. You reached out to me on Instagram because I think I was complaining about my bra, and I'm always asking people because it's a never-ending battle. Bras, everyday bras, and bras for working out. And what I found with sports bras that have compression, they just squish you everywhere. Mm-hmm. So breast tissue is coming out under your arms. Sometimes my girls they are so squished, they're trying to make a run for it out of the top of my bra. Mm-hmm. And I have to say to them, excuse me, ladies, back to your assigned seating. You are not free to get up and roam around the cabin, especially if I'm in down dog teaching a class. The last thing I want is for my breasts just to try to get pop right out and be part of the class in a way that they were not invited to be in. So thank you for creating this product.
Oh, thank you for having me to talk about it.
Absolutely. So tell me about I mentioned some of my frustration.
Yeah.
Tell me what was the catalyst, because you basically just redesigned something that was problematic for all of us. It takes a lot of guts and a lot of boobs to get out there and do things.
Well, I have the latter for sure. So I'm naturally a double G. Oh. And so, but very active. And so I actually wrote the business plan for Bloom Bras in college because I couldn't believe that there was nobody that was addressing this market. So some statistics, and then I'll jump back into that.
Absolutely. Bring it on.
So 70% of women in the US are now a D cup or above. And the average dress size is a 14 to a 16, which equates in band size to about a 44, 46. And yet literally there's no company out there that is focusing on this. It's a very different engineering challenge, as you mentioned, to carry a 3-pound weight versus a 12-pound weight.
Totally.
And so, you wouldn't use the same mechanism. So anyway, I kept saying whenever somebody actually creates a real sports bra, I can't wait to buy it. I'm a pretty active person. I'm a yogi, I'm a dancer. I used to run back in the day. And so I was running my first half marathon, and I did what I had always done, which is I wore two sports bras.
Yeah,
And in this
I've done that.
case, I wore an underwire bra underneath that, and I had no
Ouch.
skin left from the
Ouch.
chafing of the underwire and the hooks
Yeah.
sticking in my back.
Yeah.
So it was a bloody mess at the end of this race, and I said, you know what, that's
That's it.
it. There's got to be
Yeah.
a better solution out there.
100%.
I took to this is a while ago, so I took to the internet and saw that there were hundreds of thousands of women complaining about the exact same thing that I was, and so it took me a couple years, but I kept saying, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it the way that I want to, which is
Yeah.
let's tear it down. Let's take the word boob out of the equation, and let's look at this like we would like in an engineering project
Yeah.
and really solve for it. So the things that I wanted in my bra, I wanted adjustability. So our bodies change 10% throughout a month naturally. So if you're a B cup, not a big deal. But if you're a triple D, that's a pretty big fluctuation. That can be up to a cup size.
Yeah,
And
for
as you
sure.
know, if you put 10 women who are all, let's just say, a 38 triple D next to each other, they're
They'll
going to
look the
look and they're
same.
going to hold different. They're going to have
Yeah.
different desired outcomes. And
Yeah.
so I wanted something that was going to focus on adjustability, comfort, breathability, definitely no underwire. We can talk about that,
Mm.
but I am very anti underwire.
Mm-hmm.
It serves a purpose, but if you think about the body, especially for somebody like you and somebody like me who were doing things like yoga, right?
Yeah.
Your lymph nodes have to drain.
Yeah.
And if you think about an underwire bra, and you think about where it's pushing right into your lymph nodes. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was really important to me. And then I
Mm-hmm.
kept saying also, it doesn't have to look or feel like a suit of armor.
Right.
And so when I started talking to designers, everybody kept coming back with kind of the same like sports bra, with just
Yeah.
a bigger version. And, companies like Nike, who've been printing money for years and years and years, they
I like
take,
that you say that have been printing
I
money.
mean,
Literally.
listen,
Literally.
right? And God, by the way, that's not a dig on Nike. They know what they're doing. They've got,
Totally.
but there's a reason that they've traditionally only gone up to a 38D, right? It's way
Right.
easier to deal with the itty bitty titty committee
Right.
versus us.
Right. The big
Um,
titty committee.
right. And so I said, there's if we were to be able to accomplish those things, many of us would breathe a sigh of relief. And
Many of us
so
could breathe because we wouldn't be so
exactly.
constricted.
And so
Oh,
I had no idea what I was doing. So I launched on Kickstarter,
okay.
and this was in 2016, and I had 240,000 people come through our Kickstarter page within 3 weeks without spending a dollar. I mean,
Wow.
I spent money on getting the prototypes made,
Yeah.
but no money at all on creating a beautiful Kickstarter or whatnot.
Right.
And
Right.
so I knew that I was onto something, and that I was really, I feel like, again, tip of the iceberg, starting to understand what the market could be. And then the next thing I did was, and I love all the stories because if you think back in time, things have changed so much. But I
Yeah.
posted on a Facebook page for specifically for women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I posted something and I said, "Hey, I know this is random, but I'm looking for women between these sizes to come try a couple prototypes and give me your feedback. I want to be
For
able to
sure.
try these on real bodies because most companies use what are called fit models. And so
Right.
they'll take one person and they'll say they're the typical
Yeah.
measurements, but
They're not.
again, as I mentioned earlier, if you put a bunch of larger breasted women together, we might have the same size, but that does
Yeah.
not mean we have the same shape.
Right.
And so I had 165 women in the Bay Area all respond to this request.
165.
And they all showed up at my apartment to
Oh, that's
try this
hilarious.
on. But it was great because, and I say this lovingly, we're not all going to, it's not going to be the bra for every
Of
single
course.
body type.
Of
And
course.
that was important for me also to be able to say, what are our outliers? So,
Hmm.
for instance, if you look at traditional clothing, it's called grading. So
Right.
it might be, they take something and they make it 7% bigger for the
Mm.
next size up. But with,
Yeah.
with boobs, it doesn't go that way because most likely you're going to be fuller.
Yeah.
So, if you've had kids, for instance, you
Might
might
be
have
not
to
as full.
roll them up to shove them
Yeah.
in, and
Yeah.
um,
Testify. I breastfed some kids for a while, so
right, right,
Yep.
exactly. Or like,
Yep.
as we get older and when
Yep.
we hit perimenopause and menopause, our bodies change again so dramatically. Or if you've had
Yeah.
major weight gain, weight loss, your body changes dramatically. If
Hmm.
I'm not wearing the same things at this age that I was wearing in my 20s or 30s.
No.
And
No.
so all those factors played into it. And so when I actually launched the product line, I felt like I already had some data points, and those
Yeah.
have changed throughout the years.
Yeah.
We've been in existence since 2016, and when we originally launched, we only went up to a 48K, and now we go to 56L, and we're testing right now the 60M because the demand is so high. Um,
Wow. It's great.
yeah, it's amazing. And one of the things that was so interesting to me is prior to the pandemic, we were going around doing pop-ups all over the country. That's how the brand grew. And we'd have lines down the street of people there to,
Sure.
essentially try
Yeah.
the product on because
Yeah.
um there was such a level of frustration. And the first
Yeah.
question I ask anybody
Uh-huh.
is, what size bra do you think you wear?
Do you think you wear? And that's the key. And you said something that made me pause for a second. So from the time I was, I don't know, when my mother took me to Sears when I was 12, because
Yep.
my breasts came in hard and fast. I turned 12, puberty hit, and my
Yep.
double D's just flew in. Thanks, Grandma. Thanks, Grandma Small. And because my mom, she's like, I don't know where you got these from. I'm flat chested. I can just wear a tank top or a t-shirt. Not me. And it was really upsetting as a young woman not to be
Mhm.
able to wear like a tank top without looking like, holy smokes, what's going on there? And you're only 12. You don't know what to do with all of
Yeah.
this. And what was really interesting to me is when you said the average band size is a 44, right?
Mhm.
Because I had that kind of big band size and that really reinforced band and the built-in shoulders, like really young. And that really gave me a challenge to my self-esteem because everybody's wearing these cute little bras from, I
Right.
don't know, La Vie en Rose or La Senza or whatever those brands are that I have to laugh at because I can really maybe I can't even wear it as hair
No,
muffs.
same. Well,
Yeah, and
yeah.
yeah, that hurt my heart a little bit, but that made me feel better to think that that's the regular bra size because you would never see a band size at 44 in the store anywhere. You'd be lucky if you
Right.
got to a 40.
It's still a big challenge,
Yeah,
and it's interesting because and I feel for girls specifically,
yeah,
who are going through that time because it didn't matter if you were the first or the last, you always wanted something different. And you already
yeah,
and
yeah,
girls at that age struggle with body issues regardless. I was
yes.
the opposite. So mine didn't come in until I was almost 17. And so
Okay.
I had the opposite. I got made fun of for being flat chested. And remember
Oh,
that whole, we must
we
increase
must
our
increase our bus. Yeah,
did
so
it every
ridiculous.
night. And then my joke is that, I showed them. I went away to,
I showed them.
the summer break between my junior and senior year in high school. And
Yeah.
I went from we'll call a generous A to a double D in like 3 months
Oh,
time. And so
oh,
then I had to deal with the teasing of everybody, you know,
from one extreme to the other.
and then, you're getting attention from males, especially older males, because at that
Yes.
time, I was 16 years old, and
Yes.
I didn't know what to do with it. And I was a dancer, and all of a sudden, my costumes weren't fitting me, and it's like all these little things that
Yeah.
now you can look back as an adult and say, oh, it's not a big deal. But when you're going through that, man, that was such an emotional time to begin with. And then,
Totally.
dealing with boobs. And even now, as a very grown adult, it's like
As a
I
woman
went
of
to
an
go,
interesting age.
right?
Yeah.
Well, and as we're going now through perimenopause and menopause,
Yeah.
and things are changing and shifting again in ways that I
Again.
don't quite know what to make of it. You have the same, we have a different set of emotional challenges where, it's like at one point I think the breasts are looked at as a sexual, desirable, and then at some point, right, if you have kids, they become like feeding tools.
Yeah, 100%.
And then at another point, they become, I would say, like almost a challenge because they start to deflate and whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
We have one muscle that holds up the entire breast. So it's
Oh, I didn't
one
know.
ligament.
Wow.
And that ligament, right, that continues to get pulled and dragged down.
Gravity. Yeah, yeah.
And then, you think about what happens to all of our muscles in atrophy. And so no matter what, those perky boobs are going to deflate. So,
Yeah, and that's, you know what? I wish society would support the saggy breast. Like,
oh
saggy
my
breasts
God,
matter.
right,
Saggy breasts,
right.
saggy breasts matter. And if we all live long enough, you're gonna have saggy breasts. So,
Right. Well, and you and I
yeah,
grew up, you and I grew up in a
with
time
saggy
where like
breasts.
we were seeing magazine covers, with like, and we grew up in the push-up bra era,
We did.
where all of a
We
sudden
did.
like you want them up to your chin. I don't want them up to my chin. That's
No.
the last thing I want these
That
days.
would suffocate me. If I wear certain sports bras, they're already there, and I go into down dog, and my nose is in my cleavage.
Oh
I
my
don't
gosh.
want that it's because they've shoved them so far up. I
Right.
can't.
Or you look down, I don't know about you. I'll look down sometimes and I feel like I've got a whole second meal between my
Totally
cleavage.
snacks. When I come back from the movie theater, I lift up my bra, and there's like a half a container of popcorn in
Oh
there. I'm
yeah,
not
for
gonna lie.
sure. You're like,
I'm not gonna
lucky
lie.
day.
Look at that snacks. One time I found a chocolate kiss in there and I was so excited. But I do use my bra as a pocketbook. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, me
I've shoved
too.
my keys in there. I put my wallet in there. That's how big my chest is.
Well, so then you're really gonna love, because I know you haven't, your bra got returned here, but
Oh no. Okay.
don't worry,
We'll chat.
we'll figure that out after. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's designed with pockets, so each when I was designing the bra, and with a lot of help, obviously, there were
Yeah.
several key things that I really wanted. So um, most of us are not symmetrical, and
Right. Right. Right.
for some of us that can be up to a cup size different, and you might not know it even, right,
Yes.
but you know it when you go to put a bra on.
Yes.
One side tends to be larger than the other side,
Yes.
and so
Yes.
I wanted, and then like I said, our bodies change out a month, and so it's designed so that each cup works like a corset, so there's no
Mm,
underwire, but you can adjust the size of the cup and you can adjust the strap. And so with
okay.
that, the way that we did that was I wanted, I kept saying, I want to feel like I'm walking around with somebody's hands holding me up. And while I had some volunteers for that role, um,
Not who you
I,
wanted.
right?
None
I
of
didn't.
those people I want that.
Oh yeah, right. Listen,
Yeah.
they're
Just
still
like
they
it.
still offer. I'm
Yeah.
flattered by it. Now I'm trying to take them up on it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
so, the bra's got almost like a shelf underneath, and so there's a section between the shelf and the pocket. I'm sorry, and the cup that becomes a pocket. So I run with my phone, my keys, and some credit cards in there.
Come on.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was one of those things where when I discovered it, I mean, obviously I'm biased as I say this, but I wear it everywhere. I mean, I
That's what I want.
when I actually wear, I have to wear like a non-bloom bra, I end up getting jealous. Like I'm like, where's the
You're
pocket?
angry.
Where's
Yep.
where's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's how I feel about when I purchase leggings that I have an impulsive buy, and I'll buy a
Mhm.
pair of leggings just because I like the color, I like the pattern on them, and then I get them home and I wear 'em. I'm like, where's the pocket? Because
Oh,
I'm not buying
right.
leggings without pockets. That is over.
I
That is over.
agree. I
That is over.
agree.
I mean, And so this idea that you could possibly have a pocket in your bra, so it's not just you cramming your wallet, credit cards, and keys
Oh
into
yeah.
your actual
No,
breasts,
yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
what you're doing. You're actually going to have it
Yeah.
in a section
I
in
don't
your
know if you
bra,
can
which I
see
think
it.
is
Right?
brilliant, right?
I don't know if you
Oh,
can see it. Let's see. Let me find
it's
my
almost like if you wore a breastfeeding
my
bra. Remember how
glasses.
it had the open? You're putting a pair of glasses in there.
Yeah.
Shut the front door. For those of you who can't see this, I'm going to share this on YouTube later. But look at this bra. Okay, I know you can't see it. You have to go to YouTube to see this. But this bra, and it's got a zip in the front. Like, look
Yes.
at how great, and it's got that halter kind of.
Yep.
Uh,
And
I
each
like the
one,
halter. Oh my god.
and so each of the cups, I'm trying to put it so
Have
you can see it. Have a little
yeah.
corset in them.
Nice. I
Yeah.
love that. Look how comfortable that is. And you know what I like? You don't have this gush at the top.
No. So like again, the goal was in creating these encapsulating cups. The goal was
Yes.
that you had something that was almost going to mimic hands holding you up and lifting you up.
Right.
Now it is
Right.
a different, right? It's a different experience.
Of course it is.
We've grown up thinking that like you're supposed to have like this squished feeling,
Yeah.
but that actually is really bad. Like we were just talking about sagging.
Mm-hmm.
So part of the reason that we sag is if you're not flexing your muscle, right? If you're not working your muscles,
Mm-hmm.
then they're
They
going to,
electrify.
yeah. And so you actually do want some movement in the breast. You
Yeah.
don't want it to
Yeah.
bounce, but you want to
Right.
have some movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of times I have been driving down, like I live in a really pretty city where there's lots of walking trails and running trails. And I live along the Detroit River and like St. Clair. So there's a lot of people, riding their bikes. I will see a woman running that just looks painful. It's like
Oh,
ka-chunk, ka-chunk.
oh
And I
yeah.
gotta look away because I'm thinking to myself, how are you running? Like it is so clear that we are not thought of in the bra industry. Like we are
So
just not considered.
my big joke, and I've always wanted to do it, and I've never had the guts to do it, is to go set up like remember the old Charlie Brown, like the doctors in
Oh yeah,
I want to
psychiatric
go do it
advice for
on like a
5 cents.
running path. Yeah, I want to go do it on a running path and be like, you need a bra. You
And
need a
you need a
bra.
bra, and you need a bra. Like I really feel like you should be at all running events, like to have a tent. And
Yeah.
when you go to pick up your race packet with
Yep.
your number and
Yep.
your all that stuff, that the next stop is your bra. Are you wearing
Yeah.
the right bra for this race?
Right.
Because I will shave seconds off your time
Well,
because you won't be chafing. You won't have to stop and rub the body chafe
yep.
stuff or the deodorant or Vaseline or whatever you use to mimic chafing. I can actually shave time off your run time. I'm just thinking.
Absolutely.
And you're not, and for me, when I start running, I do not want to touch my clothes. I do
Oh
not
yeah.
want to pull up my leggings. I do not want to pull down my jacket. And I sure as shit don't want to be dealing with my bra.
Me
I
neither.
don't want the clasp in the back rubbing the skin off my back.
Mm-mm.
I don't want, and you know what the worst is with underwire bras? After a while, the wire just comes out of the front
Yeah.
and tries to puncture your breast,
Well, right.
or it comes right out and you've got one underwire side and one not underwire side, and you don't know what to do.
Well, so and to that, like what I was saying about like bra sizing. So when I talk to women and talk to them about what size bra they think they wear, one of the things is they'll be like, oh, I'm just gonna throw out like I'm a 38D.
Okay.
And I can usually eyeball. I'm kind of the boob whisperer these days. I can eyeball and say, like,
No.
probably not.
No.
But then you talk to them and you find out that they've been wearing the same bra for 8 years.
Yeah,
So
or
there's
high
like no
school.
fiber left in that bra, and like
Right.
the underwire is essentially at this point like
Just
there's
gonna
no
grind it.
point. It's not doing any service. And the tag is all tattered, and and so then you say, here's how you actually measure yourself to find a bra. Well, there's no regulation in this industry. So I'm going to pick on Victoria's Secret for a second.
Yeah, because I mean that's the one we know the most, right? Like
Right.
everybody's familiar with them. Yeah, yeah.
So the way that you take bra measurement is essentially if you take a tape measure and you go around the underbust, around the rib cage, you take that number, write it down. You take the number across your back and across the nipples.
Yeah.
You write that number. It's a math equation. So if it comes out, let's just say to a 34 and a 40, usually
I think those were my measurements, like a 34 and a
34 and 40.
42 or 44 or something like
So
that.
then so then the differential there is 6. So that's A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
now I'm going to make it even more complicated. So
Okay.
somebody somewhere decided that D was going to be where we all of a sudden we were going to say now it's a double D instead of an
Right.
E, or
Yeah.
triple D instead of an F,
F.
right? So,
Yeah.
and to make matters more complicated, that is going to be very different from every bra company out there. So, so they don't use a standard measurement.
Right.
Victoria's Secret figured out there's this thing called vanity sizing. So
Right.
they know if your measurements are a 34C and you walk in there, they're going to tell you that's a 32D, because they know that we as women have been taught a certain thing. And so
Yeah.
we aspire to the smaller rib
Smaller
cage and the bigger
band
boobs.
size. I
And so
see.
now you're walking
Mhm.
around thinking that you're a 32D. And
Mm.
that, all these other bra companies, that they don't know what they're doing, because
Mm.
you've been wearing this 32D, and it looks good on you because your boobs are up at your chin, because that's what
You can't
Victoria's
breathe.
Secret is,
Yeah.
right.
You
And
can't breathe, but you look good. You
right,
can't
but you
breathe,
look
but you look
amazing.
good. Yeah.
And so, and so there's it adds to this emotional complexity that we have with boobs and with bras. And it
Mhm.
also makes it so that sizing is the most difficult thing. We deal with this all the time when
Mhm.
somebody says, well, I think I'm this size, and you have to tell them that's probably not your actual measurements. You might have a bra that fits that, but your
Mhm.
actual measurements are how you should be finding a bra.
Right.
Um, and that's, we're an online company, so that also makes it a little bit more challenging.
Yes. Now, do you do like a bra fit could you do a bra fit on a Zoom call? So if somebody were really struggling, and
Yes.
you would of course trust that nobody's recording
Right.
this fitting, you would show them where to fit, and then also show them how to get the bra tissue into the bra, because there's a
Right.
lot of breast tissue back here
You do.
that gush out of the sides of your bra
You
that
do.
people will think is adipose tissue, but it's actually breast tissue.
It's breast tissue. It's breast
Yeah.
tissue, and so again, that should all be encompassed in the bra. So
Right.
so there's a reason, like for us, we ours come down lower and they go up a little bit higher to
Yeah.
essentially kind of scoop everything in to the
Yeah.
cup. Because again, it's uncomfortable otherwise.
Yes.
And
Agreed.
we should all feel really good in the clothes that we wear,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to your bra. I don't care if it gets seen or not. Like, my big joke used to be, when I worked in corporate America, that I would come home at the end of the day, and the very first thing I would do is I would just rip that thing off.
Yeah, and
Like,
like slingshot it across the
oh,
room. Yeah.
I would
100%.
curse at it. And
Yes.
uh, and then,
Yes.
oftentimes you'd have several bras in a day, because you had
Yeah.
your day bra, your sports bra, maybe your evening bra, and
Like a
then
bralette thing, just
right, and
because
then
you
I had
can't
like
walk around the house.
yeah, and then I had my like comfy bra,
Yeah.
and now nowadays I'm like, bra, why would I do that?
I know. Listen, we're going to figure out how my shipment ended up back at your house, because I need it. Every day that I think about it, I think about
Yeah,
there's going to be a day that I'm going to get this bra and my life is going to change, because I cannot tell you, the minute I get home from anything, I take it off. And if I'm
yeah,
not leaving the house that day, I just wear like a big sweatshirt, because
right,
I have massive nipples. TMI, and I just don't want to see all that through my shirt.
yeah,
So I wear
yeah,
a big sweater and I wear no bra. And it's kind of funny, because my best girlfriend, Julianne, whenever I say to her, "Hey, do you want to go out and do something?" She goes, "No, my bra's off and I'm in for the night."
That's how I feel. That's totally how I feel. Half the time if I come home from a long day,
Yeah.
and and somebody
You
says,
put
"Do you
on your
want it?"
pajamas or
Nope, bras off. Sorry,
bra's
bras
off.
off,
Yeah.
and pants are off. Like,
Yeah.
at this
What's
point,
my
you're not getting me back out.
No, once my bra comes off, I won't even go to the door. So if Amazon comes to the door or I get DoorDash, I wait for them to drop the package off at the door and walk away before
Yep.
I let these out, like without some kind of, without them being corralled, because I might hurt somebody. I'm just gonna say mine are
Oh
a
my
lot.
gosh. Totally.
Mine
Totally.
are a lot.
Totally.
I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to traumatize my children. Like this, there's a lot going on here, and we are
Right.
just poking fun. Everybody, we're just having some fun.
Oh, of
We're not
course.
body shaming. It's just we're just relating our experiences of being bigger breasted people. Okay, so don't come for me in the comments.
Well, and to that point, because I actually
Yeah,
think this is a really important point to discuss, right? So,
yeah,
we're all, we are. I don't think that there's any woman on the planet, and this is not, again, this is not to I don't want to diss men, but I don't think there's any woman on the planet that doesn't look and say and have something that she doesn't like about her body. Um,
right.
and
We've been
it and
trained
it's a
that way.
shame, but
Yeah,
it feels that way. And the word plus size, like I definitely want to address it. I
yeah.
don't use
Please do.
it. I don't use plus size in any of our marketing, because I learned very early on, and that there are connotations, and that
Yeah,
there are, that means something different to everybody. So, like, for
sure.
instance, my body type is, I'm narrow, but I'm very curvy. So I have
Yeah,
huge boobs,
yeah,
I have a belly, and I have hips, but I'm very narrow. And so
yes.
I wouldn't fit into, traditionally, looks wise, I don't fit into what I would say is stereotypically addressed as plus size. The
Right.
same way some of the women, like one of our models is, she's a 52K,
Wow,
and
that's
she does ultra marathons and CrossFit, and I mean, just like the most stunning and beautiful and warm person on the planet.
wow.
And she
Okay.
and I were having a conversation, and she said, I don't consider myself plus size. And she's like, but that's where I have to
Where that's
shop.
why your bras. Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah,
I think that, there's like what we were talking about earlier, right? If everybody, if Nike, for instance, only makes, let's just say, from a 32A to a 38D,
yeah.
then
Yeah.
anything that doesn't fall into that realm
It's
becomes,
a
becomes
specialty
alternative
size.
sizing,
Yeah,
special
yeah,
sizing. And
yeah.
that doesn't feel good for
No,
anybody, right? And
no.
so I think that there's that, when we talk about body positivity, and we talk
Yes.
about body shaming, and we talk about, like, the some of the nomenclature that falls within the I would say the community of women,
Yeah.
none of it feels good. And so,
No.
I think it's really important to keep reinforcing that we all, right, we're all creatures,
Yeah.
and that all of our bodies were created in a certain way, and that most of us
And
don't
and
look
they're
like magazine
and it's just
covers.
different. Exactly.
Yeah.
And magazine covers are a very small representation. Like there are some people who naturally occur or out of the womb and look a certain way like that, right? But the
Yeah.
majority of us do not fit that standard. And I read an
Right.
article years ago of a journalist who said, "I'm going to train to be a Victoria's Secrets model, and I'm going to do this for 6 weeks." And they did this training for 6 weeks, and they wrote about it. And this person was already 5'9", 5'10", so she's already in that scale. Because to be a Victoria's Secrets model, and I've talked about this in my body image conversations in my workshops, you have to be 5'10". You have to have a 24-inch waist. You have to have 36-inch hips. You have to be a C cup minimum. If you're a B cup, they don't
Mhm.
really want you up there, or they're going to pad the crap of you and try to like rotate your boobs
Yep.
up so that they fill the cup, right? And I ask people in the world, how many of us in our everyday friendships, or just I meet a lot of people in my everyday world, am I going to meet a woman who's 5'10", 117 pounds or 150 pounds or whatever it is that is the requirement, but her measurements are 32 or 34
Right.
C, or right, big, full B cup or C, 24-inch waist, 36-inch hips. That is an anomaly in and of itself. That is not what most people look like. That's what maybe half a percentage of the world
Right.
looks like, or 1% of the world looks like. And I
Right,
think I
right,
looked
right.
up the statistic, and it's like 1% of people actually look like that, are born with those genetics. And the rest of that is enhancement, right? The rest of that is whatever people are doing. But to ask 99% of the population to conform to that 1% is
Yes.
ridiculous. No wonder people have eating disorders. No wonder people feel bad about the way they look. And to think that the average band size of a bra is a 44, I can
Yeah.
tell you right now, I could go to any major department store and I will have a hard time finding a 44, but I'll have no problem finding a 32, a 34, or a 36. And to think that all people who wear bras would
Yep.
fall into that 32, 34, 36 is ridiculous. And when I first got measured at Nordstrom, I went to Nordstrom. I'm like, that is it. I have had it. I don't know
Right.
what's going on. I need somebody to help me. And I went and got measured at Nordstrom, and I got measured a while ago, and I think I was like a 36H
Yeah.
or I. And now when I did my measurements for you, we come back with, I don't know what my band size is, but you're already telling me I'm A, B, C, D, E. I'm an F. So, you know what I mean? Like, that just goes to show you in 4 years how my breasts have changed. And in 4 years, I've gone through menopause.
Right. Right. Well,
In
and
4 years, we've lived through a pandemic, and my weight has been everywhere
mine
in this
too.
pandemic, everywhere,
Right.
right? And how do we foster a positive body image if we can't find clothes that make us look cute and support us? It's almost impossible.
Well, and to build on that, right? So because 1,000% agree with you, right? But then you take even beyond that, right? And you say, okay, so um, we look at Instagram, for instance, and
Mm-hmm.
even with these brands, like and I'm going to pick on another one, right? Like
Yeah,
SheFit. So
yeah.
SheFit's probably the one that like is the closest in, I would say, functionality to Bloom bras.
Okay, okay.
But I mean, I won't badmouth them, but I will
No,
say
no,
that
of course. Yeah, you're just
they
bearing
when they
witness.
right, you don't see real women on there. You
Yeah,
see professional athletes, professional models. To me,
yeah,
it is so important to showcase women. And
yeah,
and again, I use women as a general statement. I hope that that
yeah,
doesn't offend anybody in the audience, right? But people with boobs who
yeah. People who wear bras.
who right, people who wear bras,
Mm-hmm.
of all shapes, sizes, and stages of life, because
Yeah,
the fact of the matter is we need to start showcasing this more. Even when you look at, you look at the way that, for instance, Lane Bryant shoots
mm-hmm.
versus somebody like Lululemon shoots
Right.
models.
Yeah,
It's very different, right? And
it
you look
is.
at when Nike came out with their line of extended sizing, or Lulu came out with their line of extended sizing, there's a reason that they were in it and they were out of it really
Yeah,
quickly, right? Because
yeah,
they're not. It's a more difficult much more difficult model to shoot, because
yeah,
you
yeah,
have to then be inclusive. You have to
yeah,
show a lot of different body types.
yeah,
And again, going back to the traditional model of selling the same bra for the last 40 years,
yeah,
changing up, some prints here and there, and they're
yeah,
always showing, right, this model with like her ponytail, and she's like with her water bottle just coming
yeah.
off of the run, glistening. And when
Yeah,
you look at the way that they shoot the traditional extended sizing, it's usually somebody smiling, looking dead at the camera, like with their hand on their hip.
it's
It's not the
true.
same. It's not the same provocative
Yeah,
imagery, and so I
yeah,
think that that's a huge problem.
agreed.
And hopefully, I think we're starting to see some changes there, but we didn't grow up in that generation,
No, we
and
did
the
not.
generation behind us, I think, had it even worse,
For
with
sure.
like
For
with
sure.
the rise of social media and, the Kim Kardashians of the world, who,
Oh, don't
come
get me
out there
started on
and
the
right.
Kardashians. Oh my
I
God.
mean, right,
So
exactly. But that's
problematic.
now right. That's now the standard of beauty. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, you have to go under the knife to get that.
Plus, you
And
have to have so much money to get that. Like, you have to be
right.
so rich to look like that.
And she's out there touting, those waist trainers, which
Ugh.
crush your ribs. They are
Yes.
scientifically proven to crush your ribs. Like that's
Yes.
not. We've
No.
moved past the days of like
Corsets.
binding our women, right?
Right?
So
Oh my God. That was the
yeah,
18th century. Did we do that already? We
I
did that
mean, right?
already, and it wasn't good for
Didn't
everybody.
it
So
didn't
let's
go
stop.
so well.
It didn't go so well for a lot of us. So let's just stop that. But I love this idea of using just everyday folks to
Yeah.
show it what it looks like on everyday folks. And I mean, I was just perusing your website, and I can't wait to get my bra. I'm so sad that I had some mailing issues, but it looks so cute. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it is a solid bra that is going to hold stuff together. It looks incredibly well made. And on top of that, it's super cute. And I love the sizing. It's just like size 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know what I mean? I'm not going to have to figure out a whole bunch of things. I
Yeah.
love that it has a zipper in the front. I love that it has back support. I love that it has adjustable straps. Like, you have really thought of all of it. Like, I'm just in awe for sure. And I cannot wait. I'm disappointed. We kept pushing back this chat because I was waiting to get my bras so that I could literally wear them on camera. But when they get here, I'm gonna, I'm
Yes.
gonna just
Yeah.
practice in them only in my yoga pants with pockets and this Bloom bra, and I'm gonna show you how amazing it is. And I'm gonna show you that the girls aren't gonna try to come out and give people a show that you
Nope.
don't want them to give. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe you do, but
maybe.
when I'm teaching yoga and stuff, I need them to stay where they're told. I need them to stay in their assigned seating. So we're almost at the hour mark, which is amazing, and we've covered a lot of good topics. Tell me, where can I purchase these bras? Like, where in the world can I get a broom bra?
So it's www.bloombras.com. And we're here. We offer free returns, free exchanges because we do know how important and difficult
Getting the right
sizing
fit
is.
is, yeah.
But it's so and we've remained direct to consumer. We've had partnerships in the past with companies like Macy's and Title IX and Universal Standard and some other pretty major retailers.
Yeah.
But usually, right, they don't want to carry the full sizing line. They only
Range.
want the
Yeah.
smaller sizes. And so I won't cherry pick the line. To
Good.
me, it's most important to have the larger sizes. That's where like we sell out pretty frequently of our larger size
Yes.
items because
You're the only one doing it, for crying out loud,
exactly.
and doing it right. So it's about body image. It's about size inclusivity. It's about making a product that's functional. It's about making people feel good in their bodies, because you and I both know when you feel good, you look good, and when you look good, you feel good. And for once, I would like to have a bra that I don't want to cut off when I get home. I don't even want to try to take it off. I don't want to take a pair of shears to the back of it and just cut that sucker off, because
Yes.
I've had it. I just came from hot yoga not too long ago. I did hot yoga. I got up early this morning at 6 and did hot yoga. And when I came home from hot yoga, literally there was a bath in this bra because it's just so much happening. But I'm grateful to you. I'm grateful to Bloom Bras. And don't worry, all of the information where you can get yours will be included in the show notes. Elyse, thank you for doing this with me.
Oh,
Thank you
this
for
is so fun.
Oh, I thought it was a blast. I love talking boobs with you. I love talking breasts with you. I love talking to how not to get a uniboob, how to look super cute and have a functional bra that has pockets in it. You don't even have to stick your keys in your breasts. There's actually pockets for it. So I don't know what's going to happen to that whole situation with those of us who've been using our bras as our pocketbook forever. But thank you so much for being on the Intentional Wellbeing Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And stay tuned. You'll get to see me and my Bloom bra soon, and I'll be sharing lots of pictures of it on Instagram. You'll get sick of hearing about it, but go and get yourself a proper bra. Go and get measured. Check out their website at Bloom, BLOOM, bras, BRAS.com, and check out the selection. You will not be disappointed. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you on the interwebs. And don't forget to be intentional about your well-being.